Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for this episode 29 of the Own the Map Challenge here on Monteith with me, Farmer Murphy. Well, it is spring planting time again, but 1 year later. As I indicated last episode, I said I was going to work my way through a year, and I have done that. Now, I'm going to give you a complete update on that year, but I'm going to do that from the seat of the tractor here in just a moment. But I wanted to bring you in at this location to show you something. This is field 2, across the road from the main shop, as you probably are aware. And every year I paint in this area right here so that we can get to our harvester headers without running over the crop. And every year the AI seeds back over it for some reason. So we've had enough of that. This is going to be our next target field. And so we are going to buy that, but we're going to have to borrow some money because currently we are sitting at 765,000. That field is 1.8 million, but in June, I think it is, we have 1.5 million dollars worth of soybeans to sell. So once we hit that point, then we'll just pay out that loan. So it'll be a short-term loan. Now, you probably haven't seen this before. I think I bought this last fall, the only equipment change on the farm, but this little slip tank here on the truck wasn't quite doing it for our fuel needs in the field, so I added a Thunder Creek fuel trailer. And that's what we're going to jump in here, and we are going to head to the field where I have all the gear set up, and we're going to start putting corn in for this year. For the school bus here. Now I'm just set up here on our large field. It's was soybean last year, so going to be corn this year. So that's where we're going to work. You know what? We're going to go buy this guy. We are in a hurry. You got to get cropped in the ground while the sun is shining. There we go. Now you can see, just coming into view there, we've got our seed tender, seed slash fertilizer tender, I guess I should say, all set up here and ready to go and loaded up. And of course, our fuel here, so we are good to go. And this will follow us around this spring while we do the work in the field. Now, I'll get set up and get going here in the tractor, and I'll bring you in just a minute. Well, we are underway here. Now, I am doing this with Courseplay. We're just riding along here for a little bit so I can bring you up to speed on what's been happening. And there's lots of gone on, actually, in the past year. Now we are actually in year 10 here on the farm. That's hard to believe. And I know I've been calling the kids, but they're not kids anymore. Jim's like 28 and Amanda is 26. And that was really brought to light here this last fall because she up and got married. She'd actually been seeing a young fellow, an agronomist, who had been coming out to the farm and helping us out. And she and they got hitched last fall, and she's moved into town with him. So she's no longer on the farm, but it's not an empty nest situation yet by far. Jim's still around. Of course, he does have a long-time girlfriend as well. She's actually from a farming family, and they kind of split their time between our place here and her folks' place. But they've not been talking about marriage, but they are very much together, and they've been looking actually at building their own place out here on the farm. They actually have identified a location uh, down along the river near where Bill is. And actually, Bill and Jim have spent a lot of time together. They like going fishing and getting out on the river in Bill's old canoe. But they've found a spot like where there's a bend in the river where it's a really nice sandy area. It's just access is a bit tricky. But we're kind of looking at to see what we can do. Of course, we got to acquire the land, but kind of an option two is at the end of our hayfield, just across the river from Bill, just before or just across the bridge there. So at some point, something's going to happen that way. But yeah, his intention is to stay on the farm. But seeing as we lost Amanda, we've been talking to Harold, and negotiations are underway for him to come and join the farm full time in a similar arrangement that we have with his dad. So I think that's going to happen. That's going well. Of course, that's going to cost us some more money. Amanda basically was room and board and a little spending money. Harold's going to cost us considerably more than that, but all good. So that kind of brings you up to speed on the personal front. Now, what went on the farm? Well, in that year, we did $241,000 worth of contracts, but we sold $2.9 million worth of farm product in the form of either bales, crops, or cows. So what that meant is we were able to pay off that high interest $2 million loan that I didn't like very much for the field we're actually currently in right now. So we own this one outright. And we were also able to buy out all our leased equipment. So all the leased equipment is now ours. But we still do have the remaining balance on our, what was it, $900,000 loan. It's nearly $800,000 or maybe a little bit less. I haven't checked on it in a while, but we still have that. Now, of course, we're going to have the loan I mentioned earlier. I haven't done that yet, but like I said, we'll be able to pay that off once we sell our soybeans here in a couple months. Now, one thing we won't have is any cow revenue for a little while, because Farmer Murphy made a mistake. I have a mod in that allows me to go on vacation so I can jump time. Instead of one day, I can jump several days if I want. Well, I had intended to jump 2 days here on the farm, and I wasn't paying close enough attention, and I jumped 1 month and 2 days. So I can tell you, I have another mod installed. It's called Realistic Animal Losses, and I can tell you that works, because if you don't feed your animals, they will starve to death. Yeah, I killed my entire herd. I knew I would be down, I'd be low on food, and I'd have to do a mix right away. And so I made the mix up, went up to my cow pen, and there they were gone, dead. So I did replace our herd because I had over 3 hours on the map, and I hadn't done a save, and I didn't want to redo it all. So I just replaced them, but obviously I couldn't disperse their ages like had naturally occurred from before. So yeah, we're not gonna have anything to sell for a little while. So yeah, that was a bit of a hit, but yeah, you know what, honestly, we don't really need the money that bad, so we'll just live with that mistake. I'd rather do that than have to redo 3 hours worth of real life work on the farm. But I think that pretty much brings you up to speed. Like I said, we didn't add any new equipment other than the fuel trailer. I am on the look for another Kenworth. I think we'll add another truck to the farm, especially this spring. We've got some grass that we could do, and I've got a trailer that I use to load bales on. I believe I showed you that. I've had it for a while. If not, you'll see it's just a flat deck trailer for loading bales rather than that stacking wagon, because we can haul a lot more bales on there. In any event, it'd be handy to have two trucks, so I didn't have to, disconnect from our seed tender you saw there, seed/fertilizer tender, to go pick up bales. I'm now that I think about it, I may not have shown you that trailer. I may have gotten that last year as well. Well, we'll fix that though. But anyways, I think we've accomplished what we wanted to accomplish there. I just wanted to bring you up to speed, and I thought we'd do it from the tractor rather than just standing around. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get some fields taken care of here, and I think the plan is we're going to do a rolling cinematic. Been a while since we've done that, I believe. And then I'm hoping that I can jump 1 month once everything's in the ground, and we can do a spraying one. At least that is the plan, as long as it doesn't take too long in real life to get all this planting done. But you know what? It went pretty fast last year. I think it'll go pretty fast this year, because this knocks out the acres pretty quickly. So I will see you in a little bit when we're ready to do some rolling. So we'll see you then. Well, the corn planting continues here on the farm, but this big field here is done. So as promised, we're going to get some rolling done, and as promised, we're going to do that in a cinematic. So sit back and enjoy the tunes, and we'll see you when we are done. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that cinematic. We are actually in the following day, mid-afternoon, and as you can see, I have taken a break from the planting. Jim is actually out finishing our last cornfield, and then we'll be switching over to beans. Not sure if we'll get on to that today or if we'll maybe take a break and carry on tomorrow. We'll see what the weather holds. But speaking of weather, we had a nice break in there, and I needed to make hay on this field here, so that's why I turned the planting over to Jim, and I came and have been working on our hay field here. And I did kind of look back, and I didn't think I'd shown this trailer in action yet, so I decided now would be a good opportunity. It also gets to show our old John Deere in action. Whoops. It's fun to use these auto-loading trailers like this and use them like an auto stack. This trailer holds quite a few more bales than our stacking trailer. Oops. No need to stop there, old girl. Now, one thing I meant to tell you, and I forgot to share when we were out seeding on that large field, field 15, you may recall that there was a grass patch at the north end of that field. Well, as it turns out, that grassy area we had absolutely no access to once there was crop in the field. So what I ended up doing is I just plowed that area into the field to expand field 15 a little bit. So that grass area is gone. We have no worries about that. Now, I made hay on this field. I did some calculations, and if we have 50 hay bales, that's basically should be enough hay for us to go an entire year as far as feed mixes go. And we got 33 bales off of this field. And of course, with our hay that we still have left over from last year, that exceeds the 50 bales we require. So I'm thinking we will not need to make any more hay this year. All our cuttings can now turn to silage. Basically what I keep in our storage whenever I have straw or hay or silage bales available, 50 hay bales, 100 straw bales, and 100 silage bales. And that is enough for us to, like I say, last us a year, which is more than enough. And it also means that we don't need to change that storage, because that, storage holds 250, so it all works out. So no need for us to upgrade that, so that's kind of handy. I was going to say, this is good in-cab work, but we really don't have a cab, do we? It's one of those, what I call panoramic cabs. But the old girl works pretty good for doing this. Now, of course, this is an auto-load trailer, and I do a lot run around and just auto-load the bales off camera. But I do like to stop every once in a while and do it like this. It's fun. We have made, well, on the bale counter when I made, when I was checking to see how many bales I had off this field, with that particular baler, we've made 2,700 bales here on the map. Now, we have had other balers, so that isn't our total. I should have looked it up in the statistics, but we have made a ton of bales. So obviously, I do need to use some method to pick them up other than just this. But I can haul twice as many bales with this trailer as I can with the stacking trailer. Now, I said I was going to advance time and we would do a spring cinematic, and believe it or not, I actually did make a few notes while I was working here this past year on the farm, and I have forgot about something I was going to do, and we can do that this month, so I'm going to do that instead. And that's another part of the reason why I wanted to get the grass off this field. Well, I think I will leave you there, and I will bring you back in once I've got all of this hay picked up and taken care of, and we'll move on to our next chore. So I will see you in a few minutes. Welcome back, guys. This is what I wanted to try. I have not used this before. This is the Oxbow manure spreader, and it has, or I guess I should say, is set up so it can be used with precision farming. It not only has the crop sensors on it, but it has the John Deere manure sensors, so I'm thinking it should work just fine with precision farming. Now, I have rented this to give it a try. I've not used it before. And this sucker's expensive. It's $500 grand to buy. It cost us $25,000 to rent it for this project. And you can see I had to improvise a loading ramp here because our John Deere can't reach into it because it's so large. So I'm going to put a request out there. If anybody is aware of a manure spreader that has the John Deere sensors on it, that is, a small pull behind one or smaller pull behind one, I would be interested. I looked, but I couldn't find one. So it kind of means we're limited to this one. But I've got about 500,000 liters of manure here that I'd like to use as fertilizer on our field. And because we have precision farming, I'd like to take advantage of that. Now, we could forego that if we were just going to use it on our grass fields. But I was thinking, I could put it on this other little crop field that's handy here too. But, I know fertilizer is expensive, but boy, it would take a long time to get the payback on this guy. So we've just rented it and done it, or set it up for a trial here. And the issue is actually compounded because there was a Farmer Murphy mistake made way back. The auto load trigger for this manure heap is right about here where I'm standing. Yeah. There is a gate here, but I don't think we can make that corner. So, yeah, that was a bit of an oopsie. So I had to set something up so we could load manure in this thing. So we're going to give it a try anyways, see how it works out. Um, and if it does work well, we'll figure out what we can do going forward. We might need to invest in a larger loader so we can use a bigger bucket. Yeah, we'll see. But for the time being, we'll use what we have. Let's jump here in the old John Deere and get that beastie loaded up. I'm just so challenged on space up here. Just the best option I could come up with. Now I have done a couple trial runs to make sure that this would work. Seemed to go okay, so hopefully I don't mess this up now that I'm recording. And I think what I put in 3 bucket loads and it's 25% full. So I mean it's not going to take too long. But if we were going to use this long term, yeah, might need to invest in a bigger loader, or I guess I could put a heavier weight on the back and see if I could find a bigger bucket that we could use. This is 2,000 liters, so even if I could find a 4,000 liter bucket and a heavier weight, that would, obviously cut our loading trips in half. So, they're not ideal, but you know what? It does work. Getting the job done anyway. All right, we'll get this one dumped in, and then I think I will leave you there, and I'll get this loaded up, and I will meet you at our grass field where we are going to do a cinematic. With this bucket load here, it should be over half full, I'm thinking. Oh yeah, and it looks like it too. All right, so I will get this loaded up, and we'll meet you out at the grass field. See you in a little bit. Well, we're out here in our grass field. The spreader is full. It didn't really take all that long to do it once kind of got in a rhythm. So even if we could increase that bucket by, like, say, 50%, it really wouldn't take very long to load it up at all. So I think we'd be okay with that. I must say, pretty interesting looking vehicle. But having said all that, we need to see if it works and how it works with precision farming. So let's jump in this beastie and get some manure on the field. And like I said, we're going to do that with a cinematic. So sit back and enjoy the tunes. Well, there we go, guys. Job is done. Spreader seemed to work pretty darn well. Uh, I apologize, that's going to be a rather short cinematic, I'm afraid. I even slowed the machine down considerably from what it's able to run. It was still over pretty darn quickly with that 24-meter spread width. But like I said, it seemed to work just fine. The proof will be in the pudding now when we go to cut this next time, if our environmental score stays up at, I think this field was at 99%, or sorry, 99. We'll figure that out next time we go to cut it, and we'll be able to determine if this was a complete success or not. So as far as functionality, I think it's going to be okay. Like I said, it's just a little tough to justify that price, but hey, what else are we going to spend our money on? Maybe I'll take one more look to see if there is a pull behind spreader I can find that has the manure sensors on it, but like I said, previously I couldn't find one. And I did need to stop and fill it up once, so it took nearly 2 complete loads, or 50,000 liters of manure to do this field. So we still have like 450,000 liters left. So next time we lease this, or if we end up buying it, I think we can definitely do a crop field if all works out. But anyways, we are out of time for this episode here on Monteith. So we are going to carry on. We'll get the planting done. I'm trying to come up with a plan to bring you in for some spraying and see what else we can do. So that is my hope. If you're still with me, I really appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see when other content like this lands, hit that old notification bell. But until next time here on Monteith, it's Farmer Murphy signing off.